Today, we look at Garland. No excitement there.
Good afternoon. Since I became Attorney General, I have made clear that the Department of Justice will speak through its court filings and its work. Just now, the Justice Department has filed a motion in the Southern District of Florida to unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that the FBI conducted earlier this week.
We're also seeing body jerks. Let's go back.
In the Southern District of Florida to unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that
Relating to, and then the head does a quick jerk. It's small, but it's a stress jerk. The muscles are so tense that they fire. And so when you see these jerks, and they're minute, you know just how much stress it is, because when you're tightening the muscles all over the place for what would seem no reason, because you're the law, you enforce the law. Why would stress and worry come to you? Of course, we all know the answer. It's not rocket science.
To unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that the FBI conducted earlier this week.
And now we see that the FBI conducted early this week, and we see really it's a tremor. So the eye kind of rolls, and then it flutters, and it's very fast. And then we see blinks, more stress. At this point, because there's so many tells of stress, and he's reading. If anything, you don't even have to think, you just need to be able to read. Some of it should be gone. I mean, my God, unless you can't read, then I guess that would be stress. I'm starting to think the man's terrified.
That search was of premises located in Florida belonging to the former president. The department did not make any public statements on the day of the search. The former president publicly confirmed the search that evening, as is his right. Copies of both the warrant and the FBI property receipt were provided on the day of the search to the former president's counsel, who was on site during the search.
You're also noticing here too, and he's done it now for the past 30 seconds, he keeps going back. His head goes up and backwards as he's reading this teleprompter. So we got the furrow, we've got the stress that's in the jerks, we've got the fluttering in the eyes, and now we've got this to get away. Now I find it very hard to believe such a bold action from the Attorney General's office would then have this much of a reaction afterwards. It's either a symptom of stupidity and not really thinking through, or some other conspiracy theory. Pick one.
The search warrant was authorized by a federal court upon the required finding of probable cause.
Okay, so upon the finding of probable cause. I was like, okay, there is your foundation. You have probable cause. And even if you are reading this statement, we should be able to see some kind of relax or like a period, like bam, that's my probable cause. Bam. We should hear it in his voice. We should see it in his head, neck, and body. And we don't.
The property receipt is a document that...
So then he goes into the property receipts and we see a jerk from his shoulder and a back movement. So extreme stress in that, which we all know why now.
Federal law requires law enforcement agents to leave with the property owner. The department filed the motion to make public the warrant and receipt in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter. Faithful adherence to the rule of law is the bedrock principle of the Justice Department and of our democracy. Upholding the rule of law means applying the law evenly.
So here he's talking about applying the law evenly without favor. All the nice words. But again, we see the jerk. And it always seems to be in the same area, the shoulders. The weight of the world is on his shoulders. To me, it's like, okay, it does show that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Without fear or favor. Under my watch, that is precisely what the Justice Department is doing. All Americans are entitled to the even-handed application of the law, to due process of the law, and to the presumption of innocence.
So now the stress breathing has increased because he's been trying to control his tells. Now he has to increase his oxygen levels.
Much of our work is by necessity conducted out of the public eye. We do that to protect the constitutional rights of all Americans and to protect the integrity of our investigations. Federal law, long-standing department rules, and our ethical obligations prevent me from providing further details as to the basis of the search at this time. There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter.
So he says, or he takes responsibility for this whole raid. And it looks to me like it's a hump in the sense of this is like the big thing of taking responsibility. He did this. I did this. And the body sways. And then as he sits there and says, approved, the body falls. Then the head goes up because we've got another part in this manner. In this manner. It's like, what is going on? There's no emphasis on it, but we've got the head that goes up strong in this manner. It looks like a resentful claim. It's like something you would see when you got two people arguing over ways to do one particular project. Building a deck, you either use nails or deck screws. Somebody chose nails and the other person said deck screws. And nails is really not happy right now. We don't know, but that's kind of what we see. That's the mentality that we're looking at. This is why we don't have symmetry from one part of a sentence to the next. The face isn't happy. There's no positive movement. It's just stern upward movement. Someone's not happy with nails.
The department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken. Third, let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked.
So that we see that flutter movement again in the eyes.
The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves.
And even here, we should see, a justification, an emphasis, something. And we see nothing, nothing at all. Just a mindless eater, or in this case, a mindless reader.
I am honored to work alongside them. This is all I can say right now.
He's in pride over working with the FBI. It is the one part in here that we actually see portrayal. He stands up much straighter. He's giving emphasis in his head and neck movements and body and mouth. And we see some of it in his face. He's reading a teleprompter the whole time. And he finally gets to this part where he can actually stand on a foundation he is strong in and actually portray his pride with working with these people.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
To be notified of all videos that get released, because not all of them can be posted here, in the description is a link to our Telegram channel, and if you subscribe, you'll be notified of every single video, and we don't spam it with anything else other than video releases.